Planet Vero Studios, brought to you by Evergreen Media, creating cohesive marketing campaigns. Evergreen Media in Vero Beach.
Welcome to Treasure Coast Community Health. We have 8 locations to serve you better. Our staff is dedicated to help you and your family. Here's your host, Vicki Soule.
Good afternoon and welcome to Community Conversations. As you know, I am the CEO of Treasure Coast Community Health. What you might not know is that that is a federally qualified health center that has 8 different locations around town so that we make it easily accessible for you, convenient for you to get all the health care that you might need on a primary care basis. We integrate medical, dental, behavioral health, pharmacy, and most recently, we've added optical services. So if you're new to town and wondering, gee, what am I going to do? There doesn't seem to be a lot of availability of access. Give us a call. We're constantly employing new providers and shortening our wait list. And I can tell you from all the rave reviews of 28,000 individuals within our county that use our services, sometimes more than one service, oftentimes more than one service. It is a reliable place to go for excellent care. But one of the things that I realized as I came on board with community health centers is that we're not a standalone. We're part of the community, and our community here in Indian River County is so rich with a lot of different organizations, some for-profit, many not-for-profits, and a lot of philanthropists that help on all fronts. So Community Conversations is really about bringing some of those folks to the studio so that you can hear about those things that make us such a paradise. So today we have Mary Ellen McCarthy, who is the current president of Impact 100. That is a group of women. Well, I'll let her tell you the story.
Thanks. You're putting it on me.
Well, you know, it is something that those of us that are aware of it are eternally grateful and can't figure out why every community doesn't have this. But I started out before the tape started to roll here by asking you, you know, which was the chicken and which was the egg? Did we start this and then it became nationwide? I always think we're on the forefront of everything, you know.
Well, we are.
We are in many, many, many things. But you started to give me the history and I said, hold the phone here. Let's talk about this on air.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me because I'm very proud of what we do here in Indian River County with Impact 100. And it's nice to be able to talk about it with you and with the radio airwaves. And hopefully people will listen and say, gee, I'd like to be a part of that.
Absolutely. And as I reminded you, we also stream to Facebook. And so I would encourage you and the listeners to share this information to other people because the newspapers just aren't as vibrant as they used to be. So we have to use different alternate communication methods to get the word out.
Exactly. Indian River County is full of very wealthy philanthropists. And when I moved here, I thought that's what it was comprised of. Well, it didn't take me long to find out that there were other parts of the town and other pieces of the population that have struggles, and it's gotten more difficult since the pandemic that just caused so many problems. But when I moved here back in 2011, Vicki, I was helping my parents in their later years. My mom had Alzheimer's. My father was in his late 90s.
That's how many of us come to Vero.
I found that out. I had a lot of friends.
Yeah.
And I was asked to go to a tea up at Orchid Island and learn about a group philanthropy organization. And I said, that's exactly what I would like to get involved with because I can't afford to give away big dollars to
especially
fund
when
programs.
You know, there's so much uncertainty as you age. Will I need long-term care? You know, will the stock market, you know, peter out? You know, all the things that we do to try to secure our life after work ends and Social Security begins has become so unstable that I can certainly relate to what you're saying.
Right. So really the brief history of Impact 100 in Indian River County is that Women in Philanthropy was an organization started by Ellie McCabe back in the late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a group of women that were loyal, regular attendees to her meetings. And they talked a lot about how to give away money, but they wanted to put it to work in a way that would really benefit the whole community. And so they kind of had a lot of ideas of how they would do that. And for some serendipitous reason, one of the ladies was on a business trip and read about Impact 100 in Cincinnati, Ohio. Started in September of 2001. And this was 2008. And she said, we could do what they do. And there were 10 women that decided that they would be kind of the instigators, the beginnings of our own chapter. And they said, we each find 10 friends and we invite them to join, pay $1,000 a year, and we're going to give away $100,000 every year to a worthy cause, a worthy project being started in Indian River County.
Mm-hmm.
The first year they had 209 members.
They had a lot of friends.
Yes, they just were astounded. And one of them said, gee, I don't think we're ready yet. And one of the other ones said, let's do it and figure it out later. And what they like to lovingly call the Wild West began.
I remember those early days, yes. But, the idea that we can do it, I think, is what attracts so many people to this community, because it's got that can-do spirit.
It does.
Okay. And Ellie certainly went on and formed a real name for herself by bringing the University of Florida down here for mental health services and residencies, and on it goes all the way into the mental health collaborative that still exists.
I was going to say that's being carried on by Brett Hall, and he is just a magnificent human being who does a lot for this community. But one of the things that I have learned, and I encourage people who might want to become a member of Impact, is I know so many people in the not-for-profit world now because of the work that we do. And I'm so grateful for that.
It's such a resource. If you have someone that comes to you and says, I've got this problem, now you know which individual agency is best at, or at least likely to be able to extend a helping hand out there.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about a little bit more about the structure involved, okay? If, for example, a woman who's listening, and sorry guys, this is a women's club, because
but we'll take money from men.
That's true. We will. Not for a vote, but for corporate sponsorships.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So if a new woman wanted to donate, the barrier to that might be them saying, well, I don't have time for that. So explain how the process works now.
Well, if you are a member of a nonprofit and have a project in mind, we suggest the first thing you do is go on our website and impact100ir.com, just in case you want to know, and look under grants. And you can see in the first page a box that says 2022-23 grant guidelines. It's a 6-page document, and it explains what we require for an organization to apply for a grant. It's not for the faint of heart. It's a 20-page application. We suggest that people meet with our visioning committee, because we have, unlike any other chapter, we are a global organization. We are the only ones that have visioning, which means we have people who will meet with the organization leaders and discuss their ideas. And we don't write the grants. The only thing we do is advise them after they've told us their story about whether we think that would work, or maybe give them ideas and brainstorm with them about what might be a better way to frame the application. So we want to make sure that we give them all the tools necessary for them to qualify for one of our grants.
But it is a process. It's a thinking process.
It is.
I've been a participant in that, and the framing questions that are asked of those that are interested in that assistance really require some processing time and more discussion time internally.
Absolutely. And we offer more than one visioning session to all the people who come to us. We welcome it because as members, we want a lot of choices on what to vote for, where our money will go. And I say to people, the one problem with team philanthropy for some people is that they don't have full control. But the good news on that front is that people, and I'm looking at the list of all the organizations that we have funded over the last 15 years. I'm the 15th president.
Wow.
That we funded projects. I am so thankful that we did, because they've done so much good in our community.
And unusual things, because oftentimes you have to have a project or a grant application for a bucket, education, or something very particular. But, the Shining Light Garden, where does that fit in?
I was on that site visit. I am so grateful that we funded that project, because he's a wonderful, Joel Bray is an amazing human being. Started a garden in his backyard in 2007. And in 2000, I believe it was 15, he applied for a grant, and we did everything we could to make him become a finalist, because we felt he was from the heart. Not one vegetable did he ever take a dime for. It was all donated.
And he continues that.
To this
here
day.
It is, 5, 7, 10, almost 10 years later. And
Exactly.
he contributes with the volunteers that work with him. Every other week, he provides vegetables and other things, flowers, cut flowers to hospice house. Yeah, all kinds of wonderful things. So we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about things from all different sides. Thank you. Treasure Coast Community Health in-house pharmacies have the lowest prices in Indian River County, even lower than big box pharmacies. Taking your medication as prescribed leads to better health. Affordable medicine makes it easier. Treasure Coast Community Health patients can pick up medicine as they leave the office or use free delivery and mail order services. Pharmacists are always available to answer questions. Switch to TCCH pharmacies. Save money, stay healthy. 772-257-8224 and ask about our price match.
Right now at Sunshine Furniture, it's New Year sale time. We're clearing our warehouses to make room for new styles, and this means you can save on selected in-stock furniture from Lloyd Flanders, Beechcraft, Windward, Riverside, Universal, Capri, Telescope, and more. Sofas, dining sets, patio groups, occasional chairs, cabinets, bedroom sets, tables, lots of pieces on sale for inside and out. At Sunshine Furniture, we have the largest selection of coastal furniture anywhere, including a gallery of Lexington, Tommy Bahama Home, and Universal Coastal Living collections. Visit Sunshine Furniture now for our New Year sale. Also, all pictures, lamps, and accessories are half price. Sunshine Furniture, $12.95 US 1 in Vero Beach. Visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com, and don't forget to shop our outlet and sales store just across the street.
Sunshine Furniture, the best in every way. Ooh, have a sunshine day. Sunshine.
Is owning a home your goal? With the rising cost of rent, you could be saving a lot of money by owning your own home. At Caliber Home Loans, we can help make home ownership a reality. Meet with us for a free consultation and get on the right path to buy the home of your dreams. For Caliber, home loans is all we do. We use local appraisers and offer a variety of loan options to fit your lifestyle and budget. Call us today, 844-GO-CALIBER, license number CHL 15622, Caliber Home Loans, TreasureCoast.com.
And welcome back to Community Conversations. If you're just joining us, my name is Vicki Soule, and I'm the CEO of Treasure Coast Community Health, where we provide primary medical, dental, and behavioral health services, in addition to all the things that make those services really work, things like x-rays and labs and low-cost pharmacies. And we're open for everyone. While it's true we are a federal safety net, so we do have a sliding fee scale discount for individuals that are not insured, we also have very high caliber standards. And so all of my family comes to Treasure Coast Community Health, as do many of our staff families. So don't think that it's just for poor folks, because it is not. We're very conscientious about providing the absolute best care that you can get anywhere on the Treasure Coast. But as I said earlier, it's really not about just Treasure Coast. It's about our community, how you interact with different organizations. And so today I have Mary Ellen McCarthy from Impact 100, and we've been talking about what this great organization does and how they do it. So earlier, before the break, we were talking about the variety of grants that have been funded out of what started as 100 women putting $1,000 apiece in so that you could give away $100,000. Now, you've been in existence, you said you're the 15th president, so 15 years. How much has that group given away?
As of the 14th year, $5.5 million.
$5 million. That's phenomenal. And of the 15 years, some years you had, well, you said the first year you aimed for one grant, but actually had over 200 women, so gave out 2 grants. And in successive years, I've seen this grow and grow and grow. And so last year you gave away $400,000.
We did.
And had money left over.
Right.
So I'm going to guess that the goal this year is to attract a few more members so that you can get up to the 5 grants.
We feel confident that we will achieve that goal. So, of course, our membership chair has coined a new phrase, Chicks for 6.
Ah.
So that is, that's a goal.
A goal.
Exactly.
So part of the way to do that, of course, is to touch, communicate, and entice other women into the fold of bettering their community. And so I've heard you have something new every year. And this year, in addition to Chicks for 6, which I hadn't heard until now, Share to Care is, tell us about that.
Okay, so that was born in a board meeting last year when we said, we're coming on our 15th year. We should do something special. And we kind of put our heads together and said, let's aim for a festival type of atmosphere and see if we can find a place to showcase all the projects still in existence, which, by the way, are over 40.
Yeah. Wow.
That are in the area working for people who need us or need their help and their hard work. So we decided, let's go for Riverside Park. It's the place where we have that wonderful art show every year and so many great community events. And we secured February 25th, and we are going to have, Impact members have funded the tents.
Wow.
So that the nonprofit organizations that have won our grants will not have to pay anything to be there. Okay. And they just are coming up with ideas of how to show off what they do. And we're going to have scavenger hunts, and there'll be food trucks there, and there'll be shows on. We'll have a stage and some music, and
so a real festival kind of day. A real
festival. It's going to be 6 hours. It's from 10 to 4 on February 25th, which is a Saturday.
Mark your calendars, folks.
Mark your calendars. And a lot of the listeners may be planning to go to the museum that day because that's one of those open days at the museum where there's free admission. And it's right across the street. You could make a real day of it with your family. And
find out a little bit more about all the wonderful organizations in the community and the services that they offer.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we want to offer to people is the ability to sign up to volunteer for some of these organizations.
Absolutely.
That is what people want to do when they move here in their golden years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, retirement's not all it's cracked up to be after you get done with your craft project or your golfing for 3 or 6 months. And then it's like, oh my, this is the rest of my life?
Yeah. What am I going to do with the rest of my day?
Exactly. And I can't think of a better way to do that than to be able to talk to people in action and yet bring your family and have a little bit of fun. Certainly Riverview Park is Riverside Park. I always get
Riverview's up in Sebastian, but that's a good park too.
Yeah, they're all good parks. There's nothing better than a park day in Florida in the winter. So if you've got family coming in from out of town, plan to do a double header. The art museum is something outstanding for a small town. And then come across the walkway and see what's out there.
Absolutely. And it is free and open to the public.
Oh, free.
Free
and
is
open
always
to
good.
It certainly is. And again, the idea is to expose other families to both the events and the opportunity to give back, whether it's in cash or in time. I was a little hesitant when I first heard about, because I work pretty long hours and do these other fun things in between. And so explain to potential folks, it's as much or as little as you want to put into this organization.
When I wrote my first check, I was told that I did not have to do anything but write the check.
Okay.
So I lived up to that expectation, and I wrote a check, and I didn't do anything else for the rest of that year. And I voted at the end of the year because I was allowed to do that. And when I listened to the projects summarized at our annual meeting, I said, next year, I am going to volunteer and find out more about what these grants are all about so that I have much more of a background for voting.
And you did say at the beginning that the first year or two was sort of like the Wild West. It really has, through the good graces and ethics of the folks that come together, it's really become very streamlined, organized, a number of different committees. If you want to help, as you said, with visioning, or if you are a great grant writer yourself and want to lend that expertise in terms of a grant review committee.
Right.
Okay.
Right. We have over 60 people on our grant panels this year.
Wow. And then, of course, you mentioned membership. So if you're a social person and want to create things like the Share to Care Day with your women colleagues, that's always fun. We have
lunch bunch and champagne and chocolate events and all sorts of things that will entice people to go and meet other like-minded women that are members or potential members.
And I think that is so valid. We talk about people coming here to retire, but even if you didn't come at a retirement age, once your children are out of school, unless you're fortunate enough to be in a very vibrant, friendly neighborhood, it's really hard sometimes to find new friends from mid-years on. But this, as you say, is a very like-minded group in terms of helping the community in a lot of different ways. So thank you so much for being here today and telling us about it.
Thank you for having me. I'm so pleased that I was able to at least talk about it.
And those of you that are out in our listening audience, again, I want to remind you, this is on Facebook, and there are a couple of different things that are going to be coming up, and you will see them in the newspaper. You'll hear about them on the Vero Flash. There's all kinds of folks that are out there talking about Impact 100 right now because the grant submissions have been done. The grant reviews are started. Voting happens in April. And then the funds are distributed to the agencies. And of course, that's a very exciting time. So we're in the season of doing right now. So again, pass the word on, and I'll talk to you again next week. Thank you.